day, feel it melt away, where time cannot find me at all. Just a breath away, nothing here but heaven, nowhere but love to fall. As I go within, quiet peace offers something sacred. There's a sweetness that waits, holiest embrace, that reminds me I'm always home. As I go within, quiet peace offers something sacred. There's a sweetness that waits, holiest embrace, that reminds me I'm always home. It's here that I am always home.
And so with that wondrous music energy, I invite you to find that place inside you where you and God surround yourselves with love and light. And where you know that you are completely guided, sourced, and supported by all that is, for all that is God. And that life of perfection that you live with each one that is so vital to you, your family, your friends, those around you in community, that you know that it is all part of the perfect plan of God, so that your spirit can fill, it can grow big and tall with all that it is provided. Because that is how we do here. We share, we talk, we love, and we sing, and we learn more about our relationship with God. And so as I bring this to you and I bring this to me, I know that whether someone is watching or here at the sound of my voice, that God is here and it is all good. It is all right and perfect because we are the love of God. And I simply say, and so it is. Good evening. I'm Jan Hartman, and I'm a practitioner here at Seaside, and it's good to see your faces tonight. I have some fun things that I get to do tonight. I get to do a little reading, and then I get to do a little introducing tonight, so that'll be fun too. So as you get yourselves comfortable for the evening, I want to read you something that will match up, I hope, nicely with Debbie's talk tonight, which is about new beginnings. Because the only beginning that we ever really have is today. We start over each moment, each day, and we get present each moment in each day. And so I'm reading from Holmes and Charles Barker. I sing life's song of joy. You are part of the universal mind, one with universal substance. You live, move, and have your being in pure God spirit. All the wealth, the power, and the goodness of this God Spirit exist at the center of your being. You experience the good in such degree as you accept, believe in, and feel it. As you enter into life, feeling the divine presence in everything, more and more of you will hear a song of joy singing at the center of your being. You have only to be still and listen to this song of life, for it is always there. knowing that the loving presence is always closer to me than my very breath. I have nothing to fear. I feel its loving protection around me. I know that a song of joy, of love, and of peace is forever chanting its hymn of praise and beauty at the center of my being. Therefore, I tune all unhappy and negative ideas out of my mind. I turn the dial of my thought into the sunshine of life, into brightness and laughter, into the joyous presence of the radiant God Spirit. I lay aside all my anxiety, all striving, and let the law of divine love operate through me in all my affairs. Joyfully, I anticipate a greater abundance, health, more success, and a deeper, deeper peace. Joy wells up within my mind, and life sings its song of beginning in my heart. And so tonight we have a guest. Well, we have a couple of guests actually, but we have one that's going to sing for us this evening, and her name is Patricia Watson. She is a practitioner that has been working with the online practitioner students since 2004. She lives in Nova Scotia, Canada, and she is here to sing for us tonight. And one of her students happens to be here too. And her name is Alicia Whittle, and she's right here as well. And she's been an online student for the last 30 weeks, and she lives in Iowa. And so she's out there in that big world all by herself as far as practitioner studies go. And so she is one of those diligent, mindful, wonderful, persevering people that can do all that even without the presence of all of us around. And so she's also a new member at Seaside. So she has expanded her community and her family, and we welcome her tonight as well. So if you haven't come up to light a candle, please feel free to do that. And when you do, we will start some music, and as you sit down, we will begin a silent meditation, and Arya and Jim will lead you in, and they will lead you out.
grant of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, joy, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it's in giving that we receive, and it's in pardon that we are pardoned. And it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it's in giving that we receive, and it's in pardon that we are pardoned. And it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Thank you. So beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you for setting the tone so beautifully. Thank you, Jim, Aria. Thank you, Jan, for praying us in. Jan's here with her lovely family tonight. And I want to let you know that your grandma is a wonderful, wonderful valued member of Seaside and a fabulous practitioner. We're very grateful to have you here tonight with her. Thanks for sharing the evening with us. My name is Reverend Debbie McDonnell, and I am glad to be here with you all this evening. Thank you all for coming out and supporting Wednesday night service. It means a lot to me and to Reverend Lori, and we're just very grateful that you continue to show up and share this with us. My talk tonight is called New Beginnings, and it's something that I started thinking about really last year around this time when I graduated, and we have graduation coming up this Sunday. A bunch of practitioners and ministers are going to be graduating this Sunday at 4 o'clock here at Seaside, so I invite you to come be part of that. It's always a wonderful event here, graduation. It's that celebration of a new beginning and an ending. You know, and that was one of the things that really started to resonate with me as I started looking at all the new beginnings. And in my life, I was having a lot of new beginnings, and they were in direct correlation to endings. You know, so I was newly single for the first time in many, many years. I had gone through a divorce. I was graduating from ministerial school. That was new. I took a job as a minister. I had been a stay-at-home mom for 25 years. So that was new, going into the workforce. My children were moving out. I was an empty nester. I had all these new beginnings. And they also meant there were endings of cycles. And, I came to find this quote, which is very true, and it seems obvious, but it was new to me, that every new beginning comes from another beginning end. So there's always that connection between beginnings and endings, and we have that cycle. We have that cycle of life that we just go through. You know, we leave one job for another job, and that's the end of one experience, the beginning of a new one. We get married, an end to our single life, and moving into life with two people now as a couple. And then perhaps you have children, and then you move from that ending of just the two of you to now you're a family. And so we're constantly having this change happening in our life. And sometimes, you know, we want the changes, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have new beginnings that we hadn't planned on. Our partner leaves us unexpectedly. You know, we weren't counting on that. It wasn't a beginning or an ending that we had chosen. Our loved one dies, not something that we would have chosen. We're fired from a job. The stock market crashes, all kinds of things that happen in life that weren't part of our plan necessarily, but yet they're a new beginning and a new ending. I'm going to tell you a story that I came across of a woman named Jacqueline, let me make sure I have her name right, Michard. Jacqueline Michard. It's a story of her and her husband, Don. And they were married. They were 40 and 45, respectively. They had 4 children, a daughter who was a senior in high school. They had a little boy in the 3rd grade, a little boy in the 4th grade, and a little boy who had just turned 4 years old. And Don was diagnosed with colon cancer. Stage 4, inoperable, incurable colon cancer, according to the doctors. And this was not a change this family had planned on. This was not a beginning that was in their schedule, you know. And Don had worked as an editor for a local paper. He was the editor of the small paper in town. And Jacqueline worked as in the PR department for a local university and was working on writing. Her dream was to be a writer and to support herself through her writing. One day, 4 months after Dawn was diagnosed, the children went off to get their report cards, and she assured them that everything would be fine for the time they were gone to go to school to get their report cards. Well, in that time, she lay down next to her husband, Don, and just had a sense to crawl up with him in bed and laid next to him. And she told him how wonderful he was and how much she loved him and what a great husband he had been. And in that moment, he drew his final breath. Again, a change she had not planned on. The children came home to find that their father had passed in that time that they were gone. They were upset with her. Needless to say, there was lots of turmoil in the family that happened as a result of their father's passing. The debts, the bills. She was not prepared to support the family in the way that the husband had. Her father, well-meaning, told her it was time to quit this dream of writing and get a job that supported these kids. And yet part of her resonated with that and knew that she needed to support the children, yet she had this dream and she had this desire to write. And for months she struggled, and there was the tears and the children acting out and all the things that you could imagine that would happen with such a dramatic, unwanted change, an ending and a beginning that wasn't planned. And she finally sat down and talked with a friend and told her friend what was going on with her and how she had this inner turmoil about staying with her writing and just chucking it all and getting a sensible job to support the kids. And her friend encouraged her to apply for a fellowship, and she did. And she got it. And it was the one voice that encouraged her dream at that time in her life. And she got the fellowship, so she packed up all of her things and for 3 weeks went away to write with her typewriter back then. They were still typing. And she spent those 3 weeks immersed in writing the story that was in her, grieving the loss of her husband, processing, pouring it all into the writing. And she came back home and she had 75 pages at the beginning of a manuscript that she gave to her agent, who submitted it to a publisher who opted to buy the book. She immediately quit her job to complete the book full time. Well, her father and her brother said, no, this is too much. Don't quit your job. Keep your job. Just wait and see. But she went with her intuition. She went with what she knew. And she quit her job and she wrote the book. And it became the #1 best-selling book. The book's title is, let me get this right, The Deep End of the Ocean. It's the #1 seller on the New York bestseller list, and it was the first book that Oprah used to launch her Book of the Month Club. So a beginning and an ending not necessarily planned, but the choices that Jacqueline made created her future. And this is the thing that really struck me about the whole idea of beginning and endings. Author Elena Arnold wrote this, and I think it really sums it up beautifully. Perhaps that is where our choice lies, in determining how we will meet the inevitable end of things and how we will greet each new beginning. There we have choice. How will we meet the inevitable end of things? And how will we greet each new beginning? How do you guys roll with change? I don't know about you, but I don't like it. I have one friend, and she was a beautiful mentor and teacher of mine, and she used to go, I embrace change, bring it on. It used to terrify me, like, no, don't be doing that. Don't be embracing the change. She was one of the few people I knew that really embraced change, and she was ready for it and bring it on. Me, I like a plan. I like to know what's going to happen. I like to have it like all thought out and mapped out and planned out. I like all in a neat little package, I like to have all my little ducks in a row. I have a girlfriend who used to say, I used to have all my ducks in a row and then I found out they were decoys. And that's been true for me, of course. Just when I think I have it all figured out, it all blows up on me. Life is just flowing along. You have the tiger by the tail. Everything's going great. And all of a sudden, kaboom, change. There's such futility in trying to avoid change. I know that I do that, though. I try to hold on. I try to resist instead of just surrendering and letting go and letting God, just surrendering to that divine flow. No, I'm fighting it. That saying, everything I ever let go of had claw marks all over it. That's me. I don't let go easily. I try to hold on. I'm getting better. I'm getting better because I'm learning to trust more. I'm learning to trust and I'm learning to surrender, right? Because with God, all things are possible, right? We hear that. With God, all things are possible. It's a thing that we hear often from right out of the Bible. And that, and that trusting, when we're talking about that trusting, and that's where spirit shows up. That's where God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, shows up. Trusting in that thing that we can't see, touch, or feel. That thing that is larger than ourselves. Most of us would agree that there's something in the universe that's operating that's bigger than us. But when we take it and apply it to our own little life, do we have as much faith and trust that it's operating as we do as the stars are rising and the moon is rising and the sun is rising and setting? Do we have that same faith that it's operating in our life at that level? Trusting in a power greater than ourselves can be difficult, especially if we come from a belief of a deity that is full of judgment and punishment. So I know that was my experience, and so I had to come to terms with a God that I could do business with. I had to come to find a God that I could trust, a God that I thought had my back, a God that wanted good for me. And that's one of the beautiful things about science of mind, and one of the things that attracted me so much to the religious science philosophy, is that we believe in only one power. There's only one power in the world, and it is good. There is no opposing power. There's no evil. There's no bad that's combating the good. That there is God and good, and that's all that there is. And that was comforting to me. It made sense to me. To have a God that is loving, to have a God that is kind, to have a God that is looking out for our best interest, that wants good for us, that we are meant to be happy in this world, that we are meant to be free in this world. So when we talk about trusting and surrendering, this is the kind of trusting I'm talking about. Ernest Holmes says it like this: when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. We live in a friendly universe. It doesn't always look like that, does it? It doesn't always look like we live in a friendly universe. But back of all this confusion, which is really an illusion, and that's a whole nother talk, there is that which is eternal, which is forever, and that is the power and the presence and the peace of the divine. It is always operating. Every thought that we have is creative, and that's, again, a very basic principle of the science of mind. We have what we call the creative process, seed, soil, plant. I know most of you know that. If you don't, we have classes starting. It's a great place to learn the basic principles of our teaching. But seed, soil, plant is the sort of the abbreviated version of what we think is what we create. And the seed is our thought that we planted into the soil of the law, and therefore it manifests in our life as the creation of what we're creating. So what we're thinking, we're creating. As we think, so it is. So we are always at choice. Man, by thinking, can bring into his experience whatsoever he desires. Again, that's Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind. We all use the creative power of the universal mind every time we use our own mind. So we are that microcosm of the macrocosm. We have the ability to use the same mind that is the mind of God. As we think it, so it is. You know, George Bernard Shaw said it this way. He said it this way before Ernest ever said it. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and at last you create what you will. You know, one of the things that I always did is I wanted to have assurance that the thing was going to work out before I took any action. Do any of you guys do that? You know, and what I was taught is what we do is first we trust, then we take the action, then we get the assurance. Not really the way that I wanted to do it. I wanted to know. And I had to practice, I had to learn to trust in that higher power, to trust in God, to trust in the universe, to trust in divine right order, to trust in all of the spiritual principles that we teach. And then to take the action. You know, the short version of that is treat and move your feet. You know, we say that around here, and what we call treat is the prayer that we do, a spiritual mind treatment. We call it a treatment, we treat. And then we take action. It's like if we're treating, for instance, to win the lottery, we have to go out and buy a ticket. Chances are, if we sit home and pray to win the lottery, we're not going to win the lottery. You know, if we want to meet Mr. or Mrs. Wonderful and we're treating for that and we never leave our house, chances are we're not going to meet them. You know, we need to treat and move our feet. We need to take action, whatever it is. And sometimes, you know, the action is counterintuitive to what might seem like common sense. Sometimes it's uncommon sense. Sometimes it's just following that intuition. I have a friend, his name was Indian Jim. Indian Jim was down to like his last $20. And he was praying and he was doing the deal and he was trying to make a decision about what the next step in his life was. And he got really clear that he needed to go to this event. And the ticket was $20. And he said, I'm going to spend my last $20 that doesn't make sense. But he followed his intuition, he bought the ticket, he went to the event, and there he met the very individual that helped him move into that next chapter of his life. So sometimes this step seems like, yeah, really? Are you sure? That's really not what I had in mind, but if we learn to trust our intuition, we can make choices that help us move in the direction we want to move. You know, so it's that next indicated step. It's just the very next thing. What do we need to do? We don't have to know the whole picture like I wanted to know. We don't have to know the whole story. We don't have assurance that it's going to work out. I really love the analogy of the headlights on a car. That works for me. You know that one? Like our headlights on our car, we can see so far at night. And then when we drive farther, we can see farther. And then we drive farther and we can see farther. You know, until we reach our final destination. Well, it's like that with the action steps that we take. We take the next one, and then we get clear on where the next one is, and we take the next one and the next one. We don't have to know the final destination. We trust along the way. We trust and take the action, and then we get the assurance at the end. We know that praying and meditating is always an action that we can take. It's always something that is helpful to pause, to pray, to connect. You know, sometimes we get a hit that the action to take is no action. Sometimes just waiting is good. We always want to get out there and do something, and that's not always what the next indicated thing is. So the more that we can quiet down in meditation, listen to our own inner knowing, the clearer we can be on what are our next steps to take. You know, we're never victims unless we choose to be. We're never victims of our circumstances. We always are at choice. You know, we might have a belief that because of the situation we're in, we can't do anything. But we know by changing that belief, we can make a huge change in our life. There's a story of these two construction workers. I think this illustrates the point. These two construction workers, and they were having their lunch break, and the one guy opens his lunchbox and he says, "Oh my gosh, I have bologna. I have bologna again. I've had bologna 3 times this week. I hate bologna. I don't like bologna." And the other guy says to him, "Well, why don't you tell your wife to make you something else?" And he replies with, "I don't have a wife. I make these myself." You know, so how much bologna are you creating in your own life? You know, what are you doing to create your stuckness? You know, we can move in another direction. You know, your life is an amazing unfoldment of your thoughts, of your mind, of your actions. We can create the most magnificent endings and the most magnificent beginnings, even if they're not what we had planned. The world, the universe conspires to work with you in the most magnificent way to create good out of the seemingly bad, to create love out of loneliness. And there's always that chance for hope, for change, for growth. So we practice these spiritual tools. You know that you're never alone, that the universe is always supporting you, that the universe always has your back, and that you are able to create the most magnificent life that you desire. So go out this week and play and have fun and create the life of your dreams. God bless you. Thank you for being here. And now, our very own Pat Watson is going to come up and sing for us.
So it is an honor to be here this evening. Thank you, Reverend Debbie. And this song, Amazing Things, is exactly what Reverend Debbie was talking about in terms of living our lives according to Spirit's plan for our lives. It really means getting out of our way and just allowing the universe to provide. It's called Amazing Things. You do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live, found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry where or when. You don't have to know right now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Love your life, love your dreams. You do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You do amazing things. You do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. Close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Amazing, amazing. You do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You do amazing things. Keep on.
Oh, thank you.
Yay, Patricia.
Beautiful, Pat. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Beautiful.
We are blessed. We are blessed. Thank you. Pat is here with the practitioners. The online practitioners are all here for graduation. Dr. Christina Tillotson, one of our ministers here at Seaside, is the online dean of the Holmes Institute and practitioner online training, all the online training. So she has, I think it's 34 practitioners. 28. Okay, 28. So that's pretty great from all over the world. So come this Sunday and see them graduate. One from South Africa. Beautiful, beautiful. So it is the time of our service for our sharing of our offerings. So I have ushers that are going to come forward here. Karen, thank you. And Dennis, thank you for always being here. You have been of service for many, many years to Wednesday night service. Thank you. Oh, but you're so very young. So it is the time for our offering. It's time to give, and we know that we're practicing the law of reciprocity. As we give, we receive. It goes out and it comes back. That is not why we give, but it is certainly a great way to oil the pump, if you will. And so just knowing that this is a place that is supported by your generosity and that we welcome all your gifts and know that we will be here for you for continuing on. And so let's just join together in our prosperity prayer. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. I experience a deeper consciousness of peace and security, for I know that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence, forever seeking an outlet through me. My cup runneth over. I exist in limitless possibilities. Thank you. I just have a few announcements before we do our closing song and prayer. I want to just direct you to your programs where you have a postcard in here. We have a beautiful show coming up, the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. It is a musical, it won 2 Tony Awards. It is being brought down from Los Angeles from a theater troupe up there, which actually is my daughter's theater troupe, I have to confess. She graduated from the local high school here, went up to Cal State Northridge where she got her degree in musical theater. and a year ago, and she has started a troupe, and they're bringing the show one night only to Seaside. It's a fun family event. Tickets are only $7 and $12 for children and adults, and I think Karen's going to be selling them out in the family room tonight if you'd like to pick them up, or you can get them online, or you can get them Sunday, but come and play with us. That's next Friday night, June the 12th. Classes are starting. So we have graduation on Sunday the 7th at 4 o'clock. Be here. It's open to everybody. It's a beautiful celebration. If you've taken a class, if you've taught a class, if you've been part of education in any way, come and participate. We have ministers from all over, practitioners from all of the Southern California area, and we have 7 of our very own ministerial students from the Holmes Institute. I'll embarrass Bill one more time. Bill is one of them, and we're so very grateful to have such close neighbors and have them come down here and play with us. So we have 7 graduating ministerial students. Classes. Reverend Tammy is starting a class. It is called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. It is sort of a little bit based on the Joe Dispenza work. That is part of it, but it is not all of it. So she wanted to embrace that and take it even farther. There's a workshop that you must attend before taking her ongoing classes, and the first one is being offered this Friday night and Saturday. It's all day Saturday and Friday night in the Quimby room. The registration is out in the family room. You can sign up. Once you attend the beginning workshop, then she offers twice a week an ongoing meditation practice that you do together, because what Reverend Tammy tells me about the Dispenza work is the practice is a big piece of it. So you need to take that beginning workshop to be part of the practice. So that is being offered. Bill is going to be teaching Roots on Tuesday night. We start Tuesday night right after graduation. I know I have a lot of Prac 1 students that need Roots, so make sure that you sign up for the Roots class. That's Tuesday night. The following Monday, Reverend Tammy is starting Meditation is More Than You Think. Those are both certificated classes. We also have a lovely woman, Therese Bursen, I think as I'm saying her name right. She just did our art class that you took. It was a fabulous art class. She's a well-known art teacher in the area. She is teaching creative dreaming and intuition. So you'll be doing art in conjunction with your dreams. That is starting Monday night as well. So check out the education catalog, sign up in the family room. Oh, I know what news I have. In 2 weeks from tonight, I will be here, but we will be having a guest speaker. Our guest speaker is Reverend Savannah Riker, Reverend Savannah. Reverend Savannah graduated with me last year. She is the newest minister here at Seaside. She has accepted a letter of call here at Seaside. She is going to be a minister at large, if you will. She's more of a global minister. She's been over to the Ukraine. She's been to the Middle East. She is the youngest minister currently that we have in Centers for Spiritual Living, and she's hanging her hat here at Seaside. So she will be here speaking in 2 weeks. So please come and hear Reverend Savannah. Her talk title is The Unknown is My Friend. So The Unknown is My Friend. Next week, Reverend Lori Mack is here, so please come and be part of that. And with that, I just want to thank everybody who makes Wednesday night possible. Aria, Jim, thank you so very much. I feel so blessed to have you here every Wednesday. Pat, thank you for coming and sharing your gift with us. Jenny and Dennis Mills, thank you for always being here. Practitioners Jan and David. Jan and David are available for prayer after service. Please know they will be at the chapel outside this door if you're wanting prayer. Gregory, Tim, thank you for the podcast. Melanie, thank you for sound. You all are such a blessing and such a wonderful part of the Wednesday night service. Thank you for being here. And with that, you can. Aria is a voice teacher for all ages, if you didn't know, and she has a little announcement.
And piano.
And piano.
And this Saturday at noon, we're having our 12th show here. And I just want to extend the invitation. It's a free show, and it's so adorable. I mean, I have everything from age, I want to say 6 to high school. Piano players and singers, some play for themselves. We got a duet, and we do a big group song at the end. And some of these kids are really, really talented. Cool. So when the audience is full for them, they really come to life and perform even better. So just want to extend that to you, noon this Saturday. Thank you
Great.
for letting me do that.
Thank you. So we're going to pray and then we'll do our closing song. So please bring into your consciousness anybody that you're wanting prayer for, anybody in your life, or any place in your life where you're feeling you could use some healing, some prayer, some light. And just bring that forward as we turn together in prayer, just knowing and feeling and sensing that one power and that one presence that is God, that is good, that is love, that is perfect divine unfoldment, divine right action, knowing that Spirit is all that there is nothing, absolutely nothing but the divine, that there is only God in, through, and as each and every individual. And I know that I am one with this source. I know that I am one with the divine. And just as I know this is true for me, I know it's true for each and every individual here. I know that each one here is an expression of God. Each one here is a divine, individualized expression of all that is. And I'm knowing for each one that there is a peace and a presence and a power operating in their life. That there is a healing going on right now, even though there is nothing to be healed really, but only to reveal that divine essence that is already present. Knowing that each one lives and breathes and has their very being in this divine flow, in this flow of life, in this flow of energy, in this flow of love. That each and every individual is sourced with all that they need in every moment. And I'm knowing for anybody that's in pain right now, or anyone that needs a healing, that is taking place right now, right here, at this very moment. There's a light, there's a love that's moving in, through, and as every individual. I know for everyone in our Seaside family that any prayer in the prayer request chest is answered, knowing that our practitioners hold each and every prayer in the highest vibration and the highest light. And I know for Fritz and his family that Arlene has traveled on to the most wonderful place to be, that she is operating in that very high vibration, that she never leaves, that she is always here present in that form, in that energy form, in that love and that light, and that her presence is felt, that she is here watching and knowing and guiding. And I know for Fritz that as he steps into this new expression, this new beginning, that there is a lightness and there is a love and there's an unfoldment and there's a growth and there's expansion and there's a sense of family and community surrounding him and loving him and holding him and uplifting him. And I know that that love never ends. And for anybody in this room that is holding anybody in their life in that state of prayer, I'm just knowing that it is done now. It is done now in the mind of God in this very instant. I'm so grateful to know this truth. I am so grateful to speak these words. I am so grateful to recognize the power and the presence of the One. It's with that sense of gratitude that I just simply release these words into the divine nature of the law, knowing that it is already done, and so it is. Join me in our closing song.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Here she comes. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to stop. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
God bless you. Join us for refreshments in the family room.
beginning, only just the start. Only the beginning, only just the start. Only the beginning, what I want to feel forever. Only the beginning, only the beginning, only the beginning, what I want to feel forever. La 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 la. Only the beginning, only just the start. Only the beginning, only the beginning.